Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something absolutely fundamental, something we all experience, but sometimes struggle to talk about with real precision. We're talking about time.
That's right. It's one of those concepts, isn't it? It seems simple, but the language around it can get incredibly nuanced, especially at a higher level.
Exactly. You've asked us to help you get beyond those everyday words, now, later, soon, which are fine, but they don't always capture the depth we need for, say, C1 level discussions.
Precisely. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how the vocabulary we're going to look at today, these C1 terms, they aren't just fancy synonyms. They're more like tools for thinking.
Tools for thinking, I like that.
Yeah, they actually allow you to perceive and articulate time histories, plans, duration, sequences in much, much richer ways. They let you capture subtleties like, inevitability or repetition or the exact chronology of things with real clarity. It's about moving beyond the basics.
Absolutely. So our mission today, our deep dive, is basically to explore, over 40 of these sophisticated C1 words and phrases related to time. We'll give you the clear meanings, some useful synonyms to see the nuances, and importantly, practical examples so you can actually use them.
The goal really is to empower you, the listener, to navigate any discussion about time with finesse.
Yeah, finesse. So you sound both well-informed and really articulate. Think of it as a shortcut to expressing yourself more eloquently on this universal topic.
Okay, where should we start? Maybe with how we plan things.
Good idea. Let's start by thinking about how we schedule our lives, how we look ahead, anticipate what's coming, track progress maybe, words that help us prepare.
Right, because so much of life, personal or professional, really hinges on proactive planning, doesn't it? Taking action early.
Definitely. And a key word there, one that really carries that weight of strategic preparation, is beforehand.
Beforehand, yes.
Yeah.
Simple meaning at an earlier time.
Right. Synonyms like in advance, prior, previously. Pretty straightforward.
On the surface, yes. But like you said, it often implies more than just when. It suggests foresight, strategy. Think about cooking. If you prepare all your ingredients beforehand, chop the vegetables, measure the spices. It's not just about starting earlier. It streamlines the whole cooking process, right?
Yeah.
Less stress, smoother flow.
Yeah, totally. It shows you thought ahead. It's organized.
Exactly. Or imagine researching a topic beforehand for a big meeting. You're not just doing homework. You're positioning yourself to contribute meaningfully, to, really engage.
It signals a higher level of preparedness, definitely.
Yeah.
Booking tickets beforehand for a popular show, gathering documents beforehand for an application.
All great examples. And there's a psychological benefit too, isn't there? Acting beforehand reduces that last-minute anxiety, increases your readiness. It really signals a more mature, organized approach. Using that word shows you've put thought into it.
It definitely carries more weight than just saying, I did it early. Okay, so that's beforehand. Now, what about words pointing to the future? There are a few tricky ones here.
Yes, the future-oriented language. This is where the nuances really start to show. Let's look at, say, forthcoming, imminent, prospective, and eventual.
Okay, 4 ways to look ahead. Let's start with forthcoming. What's the flavor of that one?
Forthcoming generally refers to something about to happen very soon. Synonyms could be upcoming, impending, imminent, but forthcoming often has a slightly more planned or positive feel. It builds anticipation.
Like a forthcoming conference.
Exactly, or a forthcoming book release. It suggests something expected, often something people are looking forward to. It implies near future relevance and usually something positive or at least neutral.
Got it. So how does imminent differ then? It also means soon, right?
It does, but imminence often carries a sense of urgency, and frequently it's used for something potentially unpleasant or unavoidable. Think approaching, looming.
Like imminent danger.
Precisely. Or an imminent storm, an imminent deadline. There's often a feeling of pressure, maybe even threat. It signals something happening very soon that likely requires attention or action. Maybe a change you can sense is approaching.
Okay, so forthcoming is more like coming soon, likely planned, while imminent is more coming very soon, possibly urgent or worrying. That's a key difference in tone.
A very key difference. The emotional charge is quite distinct. Now, perspective. What about that one?
Perspective sounds like potential.
Spot on. It means likely to become a reality in the future. Synonyms are future, potential, anticipated. We use it a lot for people or possibility.
Like prospective students or
Yes.
prospective buyers.
Exactly. Or debating prospective policy changes, training prospective leaders. The focus is on the likelihood or strong potential for something to happen or someone to become something in the future. It hasn't happened yet, but it's looking probable.
Right. And then the last one in this group, eventual.
Eventual points to the end result, what happens after a process or a period of time. Synonyms: ultimate, final, resulting.
So it implies a journey to get there.
Often, yes. Like the eventual success after years of hard work, or the hope for eventual peace after a long conflict. It highlights the outcome, the conclusion that comes at the end of the process.
Wow. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. As you said, 4 words, forthcoming, imminent, prospective, eventual, all pointing future word. But each paints such a different picture. It's like different camera lenses for what's next.
It really is. And connecting this to the bigger picture, the choice between these isn't trivial, is it? It reflects varying degrees of certainty, anticipation, even that emotional charge we talked about.
Yeah, using imminent evokes a totally different feeling than forthcoming.
Absolutely. And in professional communication, or even just everyday life, picking the right word here is crucial for conveying the precise message. Are you building positive hype? Are you issuing an urgent warning? Are you talking about potential? Or are you focusing on the final outcome? The vocabulary gives you that precision.
Makes perfect sense. Now, what about something that suggests a calmer, more patient progression? Things unfolding naturally.
For that, we have the rather elegant phrase, in due course.
In due course. That one always sounds so reassuring, like, don't worry, it'll happen when it's supposed to.
That's exactly the feeling it conveys. It means at the appropriate or expected time, without rushing or delay. Synonyms like eventually, in good time, sooner or later capture part of it,
Right.
but in due course adds that layer of propriety or expected procedure.
Often used in official settings, right?
Very often. Your application will be processed in due course, or the results will be announced in due course after verification. It manages expectations while implying a proper, established process is being followed. It suggests patience is required, but assures an outcome.
But it's not just for bureaucracy, is it? You could say something like, healing takes place in due course.
Absolutely. It can imply a natural, organic progression, too. Culturally, it's interesting. It's often used in more formal contexts to manage expectations and convey that sense of procedural integrity or natural unfolding. It implies things will happen as they should, when they should.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Time isn't just a straight line forward. It has rhythms, right? Cycles, pauses, things that happen over and over. Let's explore words that capture these aspects.
Good transition. Yes, the patterns and durations of time. Where shall we begin? Perhaps with uncertain or temporary periods.
Sounds good. Let's look at indefinitely and for the time being. They both suggest something non-permanent, but I feel they're quite different.
They're very different in their implications. Indefinitely means for an unspecified period of time, without a known or set end.
So synonyms like endlessly, without limit.
Those capture the no-limit idea, though indefinitely in everyday use often just means we don't know when it will end. Think of an event postponed indefinitely due to, say, a pandemic. There's no new date. It might never happen.
Or someone pausing their career indefinitely.
All right, or borders remaining closed indefinitely. It conveys genuine uncertainty about the end point, a real lack of a defined finish line.
Okay, that feels quite open-ended, maybe even a bit worrying, depending on the context. How does for the time being contrast with that?
For the time being signals a limited period. It means temporarily, meanwhile, provisionally. It strongly implies that the situation is expected to change.
Ah, so there's an end in sight, even if we don't know exactly when.
Exactly. It's for interim solutions. We'll use the old software for the time being. It means we know we'll switch eventually. Or stay indoors for the time being during an emergency. It's temporary advice. Remote work is an option for the time being. Suggests a policy under review.
So one indefinitely feels quite open-ended, almost a bit daunting because you don't know the end. The other, for the time being, offers a temporary patch, a holding pattern. That's a crucial distinction for clarity, isn't it?
Absolutely crucial. It raises that important question. How does the choice impact the listener's sense of stability or expectation? Indefinitely signals a genuine lack of information, a potentially long-term or even permanent state of affairs. For the time being, signals a known but temporary state. It offers more reassurance because change is anticipated. It's about the level of commitment or certainty you're conveying.
Got it. Very clear. Now, what about patterns of frequency? Things that happen, but not all the time. We've got, from time to time, occasional and alternate.
Right, describing different levels of regularity. From time to time suggests something happens irregularly, without a fixed schedule or pattern.
Like, I check in with old colleagues from time to time.
Perfect example. Or, we hold informal team meetings from time to time. It's fairly casual, implying sporadic occurrence.
And occasional. Is that similar?
Very similar, yes. Occasional also means happening or done from time to time without a consistent pattern. Maybe slightly more frequent or noticeable than from time to time, but still irregular. Think taking occasional breaks or making occasional visits. Infrequent, but not totally rare.
Okay, a subtle difference there. Then alternate. That sounds more structured.
It is. Alternate specifically means done or happening every other time, or taking turns. It implies a definite pattern, just not continuous.
Like alternate weekends, or taking alternate routes.
Exactly. There's a clear every second one rhythm. It introduces a level of predictability that the other two lack.
So, these three give us a fantastic toolkit. From time to time is the most random. Occasional is infrequent, but maybe not totally unexpected. And alternate has that specific every other pattern, a real gradient of regularity.
That's a great way to put it, a gradient, from completely unstructured to quite patterned. Understanding this gradient helps you be much more precise about how often something happens, reflecting different levels of predictability.
Now, moving to continuity and repetition. This is where things can get really subtle, especially with the words like continual versus consecutive. How do we keep these straight?
Yes, a common point of confusion. Let's start with continual. The key thing to remember about continual is that it often implies something happening repeatedly in an annoying or problematic way.
So it has a negative flavor.
Often, yes. Synonyms like persistent, recurrent, incessant hint at this. Think of continual interruptions when you're trying to work, or continual complaints about a service, or continual rain causing floods. It suggests something persistent and unwelcome.
Okay, continual equals annoying repetition. Got it. What about consecutive?
Consecutive simply means happening one after another without a break. Unbroken sequence. Synonyms: successive, unbroken, sequential. It's much more neutral.
Like 5 consecutive wins or 3 consecutive holidays.
Precisely. It could be positive, negative, or neutral consecutive errors, for example. But the word itself just describes the unbroken sequence that count. It doesn't carry that inherent annoying quality of continual.
Right. And then there's successive. How is that different from consecutive? They seem almost identical.
They are very close and often used interchangeably. Successive also means happening one after another in sequence. Synonyms include consecutive, following, serial.
So what's the nuance?
The nuance often is that successive can imply a broader sequence or progression, perhaps involving different entities following one another, rather than just a count of identical things. Think successive governments enacting reforms, or successive generations, or successive versions of software.
Okay. So consecutive might be more for, like, counting identical items in a row, 5 consecutive days, while successive might be more for a series of different things following each other, successive leaders, successive attempts.
It's a good way to think about it, yes.
Yep.
Consecutive often emphasizes the simple numerical sequence, while successive can highlight the ongoing progression or series itself, though honestly the overlap is significant.
Okay, this is really helpful. So continual is the problematic, persistent one. Consecutive is the neutral one after another count. And successive is similar to consecutive, but perhaps hints more at a broader series or progression. That clarifies things immensely.
Good. It raises that important question. What's the critical difference in the subtle emotional charge or the nature of the repetition? Continual implies annoyance. Consecutive and successive are more neutral descriptors of order. Choosing the right one really sharpens your meaning.
Definitely. Now, let's look at words describing specific time spans or regularity, especially around years and nights. We have year-long, yearly, year-round, nightly, and lengthy.
Right. Let's tackle the year words first. Year-long.
Sounds like it lasts for a year.
Exactly. Continuing for the whole year. A year-long project. A year-long course. It focuses on the duration of a specific activity spanning 12 months.
Okay. And yearly.
Yearly is about frequency, happening once a year. Yearly audits, yearly festivals, yearly checkups. It's annual.
So duration versus frequency. Got it. Now, year-round, how does that fit? It sounds like year-long.
It does sound similar, but there's a subtle but important difference. Year-round means happening or available throughout the entire year continuously, regardless of season.
Like a year-round swimming pool or year-round tourism.
Perfect. The key is continuous availability or a continuous state. Think about it this way.
Yeah.
A year-long course has a start and an end, even if it spans the whole year. But something that's year-round is just always there, always happening, always available throughout the 12 months, like a climate with year-round sunshine.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. Year-long duration of a specific event. Year-round continuous state or availability. That's a really useful distinction. And nightly.
Nightly is straightforward, occurring every night. Nightly news, nightly routine, nightly security checks, simple frequency.
And finally, lengthy. This one feels subjective.
It absolutely is. Lengthy means continuing for a long time, but specifically too long from the speaker's perspective. Synonyms: prolonged, extended, protracted.
So it has a negative connotation.
Usually, yes. It implies the duration is excessive or undesirable. Lengthy delays, lengthy negotiations, a lengthy report that nobody wants to read, a lengthy illness. It's not just long, it's tediously long.
So many ways to talk about years and nights, and lengthy adds that little subjective grumble of this is taking too long.
Exactly. And that's the power of C1 vocabulary. It allows you to embed that subjective judgment, that nuance, right into the descriptive word itself. It adds richness beyond just stating facts.
Okay, let's shift perspective again. Now we'll zoom in and out from very specific points in time to defining broader periods, even historical eras. These are words that help us mark time with precision.
Like time markers on a map. Where do we start? With the pinpoint moments.
Yeah, let's look at exact points. How about to date?
To date means up until now. Synonyms: so far, thus far, perhaps the more formal hitherto. It's great for summarizing progress.
In reports and things.
Exactly. Research findings to date suggest. Or sales figures today have exceeded targets. Or in an evaluation, no major problems have occurred to date. Gives a snapshot of the cumulative situation right up to the present moment.
Okay, and then instant.
Instant refers to a very specific exact point in time, often extremely brief. A moment, a jiffy, a second.
Like a sudden realization. In that instant, I knew.
Perfect. Or capturing a precise moment. The photo captured the instant of surprise. Or stressing quick reaction time. React in an instant. It emphasizes immediacy and pinpoint timing.
And for the very beginning, there's a colloquial one, get-go.
Ah, from the get-go. Yes, meaning from the very start, the outset, the beginning. It's informal, but very common.
Used for talking about initial plans or problems.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We planned this from the get-go. Or there were issues from the get-go. Or showing full commitment. He was involved from the get-go. It clearly marks the absolute starting point.
So from the very start with get-go to right now with to date, and capturing that split second with instant, really useful for defining beginnings and current states clearly.
They really are. And it's interesting how instant captures that singular, often impactful, fleeting point, while get-go firmly anchors us at the absolute origin, crucial for narrative precision.
Right. Now let's look at defining broader chunks of time, like spell, chapter, quarter, and ladder.
Okay, different ways to segment time. Spell usually refers to a short, often temporary period of something specific.
Like a spell of bad weather, or spell of good luck.
Exactly, or a spell of dizziness. Synonyms like interval, phase, bout capture that sense of a limited, often transient period.
Then, chapter. That feels much bigger, more significant.
It does. Chapter refers to a distinct period in history or in someone's life. Synonyms: phase, era, stage. It implies significance.
Like a dark chapter in history or starting a new chapter in life.
Precisely. College was an exciting chapter. The invention of the printing press opened a new chapter. It helps us frame larger narratives into meaningful segments.
Then quarter. This one seems very specific.
It is, primarily. A quarter is a period of 3 months, overwhelmingly used in business and finance. Synonyms: trimester, fiscal period.
So first quarter earnings, quarterly reports, planning per quarter.
Exactly that. It's a standard unit for breaking down the year for financial tracking and strategic planning.
And ladder, how does that segment time?
Ladder refers to the part closest to the end of a period, event, or sequence. Synonyms: later, final, concluding.
So you could talk about the latter half of a movie, or the latter stages of a project.
Yes. Or reflecting on the latter years of one's life. It helps you specify the concluding part of any given duration or sequence.
These are like little bookmarks for time, aren't they? Helping us define anything from a brief spell to a major life chapter, a business quarter, or the latter part of something. Very useful for structuring discussions about time.
That's a great analogy, bookmarks. They allow for a flexible but structured way to break down time, each word carrying its own typical scale and context, from the short, transient spell to the significant chapter.
Now, let's connect time language to nature and the calendar. Words like dusk, midsummer, midwinter, solstice, leap year.
Ah, the natural rhythms. Dusk, that beautiful time just after sunset before full darkness.
When the streetlights come on, scrolling at dusk.
Exactly. It's that transitional twilight period. Then you have the seasonal peaks. Midsummer, the middle, hottest part of summer.
Midsummer festivals, peach heat.
Right. And its counterpart, midwinter, the middle, coldest part of winter.
Snow on the ground, midwinter celebrations.
Precisely. These mark the height of the seasons. And tied directly to these are the solstices.
The longest and shortest days.
Correct. The 2 times a year when the sun is furthest from the equator, summer solstice for the longest day, winter solstice for the shortest. Ancient sites often align with them, and many cultures still mark them. They're key astronomical turning points.
And then the very practical leap year.
Yes, our calendar correction. That year, every 4 years, with 366 days, adding February 29th.
Like 2024 was one. Why do we need them again?
To keep our calendar aligned with the Earth's actual orbit around the sun, which isn't exactly 365 days, it's about 365 and a quarter days. So the leap year corrects that drift, keeping the seasons roughly where we expect them in the calendar. It's a clever human adjustment.
These words really do link our language to the planet's rhythms and our own systems for tracking them. It's fascinating how it's all intertwined.
It really is. Yeah. It shows how our concept of time isn't just abstract numbers. It's deeply rooted in observing natural cycles day and night, the seasons, the sun's path, and then inventing systems like leap years to make our models fit reality better.
Okay, let's broaden our view again, way out to the vast concepts, timelessness, enduring existence, maybe even infinity.
The really big picture stuff, concepts like eternity and eternity.
Eternity, that sounds huge. Endless time.
That's the core idea, time without end. We often use it poetically or philosophically, love lasting in eternity, or cosmically, stars shining into eternity.
Or even hyperbolically, like waiting felt like an eternity.
Exactly. It pushes the boundaries of our normal perception of time. And eternal is the adjective form, continuing forever.
Like the quest for eternal youth, or an eternal flame as a memorial.
Perfect examples.
Yeah.
It describes a state of endlessness, something unchanging, existing outside the normal flow of time. Both words grapple with the concept of the infinite.
They really do feel almost beyond human scale, used for things we perceive as incredibly vast or profoundly lasting.
And we use them in both those literal cosmic senses and more metaphorical ways for deep emotions or enduring ideals. They invite us to think beyond our own finite lifespan.
Now, slightly less infinite, but still talking about long durations, long-standing and long time. These two often get mixed up. What's the difference?
It's a subtle but useful distinction. Long-standing implies something has existed or persisted for a significant time, often suggesting it's well-established or even historical. Think long-established, enduring, time-honored.
So more for traditions, disputes, partnerships, things with history.
Often, yes, long-standing traditions, resolving long-standing disputes. A long-standing partnership implies deep roots and reliability. It usually applies to more abstract concepts, policies, relationships, or institutions that have endured.
Okay, so long-standing has that sense of establishment and history. How does long time compare? Is it just more casual?
It can be more casual, but the main difference is often what it describes. Long time also means existing or being in use for a significant period, but it frequently refers to people or specific things. Synonyms like veteran, enduring, long-term fit here.
Like longtime friends or longtime employees or even a longtime habit.
Exactly. It often relates to a person's duration of involvement, a longtime fan, a longtime resident, or a thing's duration of existence or use, a longtime family car. It's more about individual association or an object's lifespan.
Ah, I see. So another pair where the distinction is subtle but important. Long-standing, often for established concepts, issues, institutions with historical depth. Long time, more for personal involvement or the duration of specific people or things.
You've got it. While there's overlap, thinking about what is being described in abstract issue versus a person's involvement often helps choose the right word. Long-standing feels more historical or institutional. Long time feels more personal or specific to an item.
Okay, time doesn't always happen in sequence. Things can happen together. Let's look at words for events unfolding in parallel or without stopping.
Good point. Simultaneity.
Yeah.
The key word here is, well, simultaneous.
Meaning happening at exactly the same time.
Precisely. Synonyms, concurrent, synchronous, parallel. It's vital for coordination. Think simultaneous translation at a conference.
Or a simultaneous launch of a product in multiple countries.
Exactly. But it can also highlight challenges like simultaneous emergencies, straining resources. It's about events perfectly aligned in time.
Then there's that idiom, in the same breath. It implies happening at the same time, but feels different.
It does. In the same breath is used when two things happen almost simultaneously. But often there's a sense of contradiction or striking closeness, maybe irony.
Like someone praising and criticizing something in the same breath.
That's a classic example. It highlights the conflict or inconsistency. Or someone might laugh and cry in the same breath, showing mixed emotions happening together. Or he offered congratulations and condolences in the same breath. It suggests a very rapid sequence or juxtaposition, often of contrasting ideas or feelings.
So simultaneous is the neutral, factual at the same time. In the same breath adds that layer of complexity, contradiction, or just very rapid succession, often highlighting something unusual about the pairing.
That's a perfect summary. The idiom carries that extra nuance, that hint of surprise or tension or irony that simultaneous alone doesn't convey. It's about the implication of the things happening together.
Very useful idiom. Now, what about nonstop time? Constant activity.
For that, we have the very common phrase, around the clock.
Meaning 204/7, nonstop.
Exactly. Continuing through the whole day and night without stopping. Hospitals operate around the clock. Customer support is available around the clock.
Or working around the clock to meet a deadline or during a crisis.
Yes. It implies constant activity, vigilance, availability, or effort. No breaks. It paints a picture of relentless, continuous operation.
That phrase instantly conveys dedication and intensity.
Right. Now, just briefly, let's touch on the frameworks we use to organize historical time itself.
The dating systems, like AD and BC.
Exactly. Anno Domini, AD meaning in the year of the Lord, marks years after the traditional birth year of Jesus Christ. The Roman Empire fell in 476 AD.
And before Christ, BC, for the years before that point.
Correct. The pyramids were built around 2500 BC. These have been the standard Western historical markers for centuries.
But now we often see CE, right? Common Era.
Yes. Common Era, CE, is used as an alternative to AD, and BCE, before Common Era, as an alternative to BC. They denote the same years numerically. 1 CE is the same year as 1 AD.
Why the change?
It's largely about inclusivity. CE and BCE provide a secular alternative, removing the direct religious reference, making the dating system more universally applicable in academic and international contexts. Many scholars and institutions prefer it now for that reason.
So it's about using a framework that's less tied to one specific religious tradition while keeping the same timeline. Interesting.
Precisely. It reflects a shift towards more neutral, globally recognized terminology in historical discourse.
And one last practical term, extension. We all know this one.
Indeed. An extension is simply a period of time added to prolong something. A deadline extension, a visa extension, a contract extension.
Synonyms like prolongation, deferral.
Yes, it's about getting more time. A very common and necessary concept in managing projects, legal matters, and just life admin.
Definitely a word we hope to hear sometimes. It's crucial for navigating schedules and commitments when things take longer than planned.
Absolutely. It highlights the practical need for flexibility within time structures. Hashtag tag recap and listener connection.
Wow. Okay, we have really covered a lot of ground today, an incredible landscape of C1 level time vocabulary, from the strategic planning of beforehand all the way to the vastness of eternity. You, our listeners, now have so many more tools in your linguistic toolkit to talk about time with much greater precision and nuance. It's definitely a step up from the basics.
It really is. And I think this deep dive shows that time isn't just this simple linear thing. It's complex, it's rhythmic, it has texture. And these words let us capture that richness.
Yeah.
For me, the real aha moment is realizing how one word choice, like imminent versus forthcoming or continual versus consecutive, can totally shift the meaning and the feeling of what you're saying about duration or sequence or expectation.
Absolutely. The impact is significant.
So perhaps the important question for you listening now is, how will you start noticing these words more? In articles, in conversations, and maybe more importantly, how will you begin experimenting with them in your own English, bringing that extra layer of sophistication to how you express yourself about time? Hashtag tagged at outro.
And maybe consider this thought as you go about your week. Using this richer vocabulary doesn't just make your English sound better. It might actually sharpen how you perceive time itself.
Interesting point.
You might start noticing less subtle differences. Is this delay just long, or is it truly lengthy? Is this pattern occasional or alternate? It's like getting a clearer lens on your own experience.
Yeah, language shapes thought. So next time you're describing something, pause. Is it simultaneous, or is there that contradiction that makes it in the same breath? That conscious choice, that's where the mastery happens.
Well said. If this deep dive into C1 level time vocabulary has been helpful for you, please do give us a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.
Your support helps us keep creating this content. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to diving deep with you again soon.